CRLA was started about 50, almost nearly 50 years ago as part of the civil rights and farm worker movement. It was part of the war on poverty during a time when we believed that poverty could be eliminated in the United States. In these rural areas, access to the law is something that didn't exist before CRLA. For the rural poor, the system of justice was not for them.
En la fresa es muy dura, muy pesada. Sale uno cansada, con dolor de cintura y todo.
Strawberries is one of the crops that is both very highly profitable, but it is very expensive to raise, so it's high risk. And that means that the producer, to try to reduce the risk of having a loss, looks for ways to avoid costs.
Lo pagan por contrato, la caja, a unos 50, y pues la cantidad que uno haga es lo que nos pagan. Por contrato ganan un poquito más, pero hacerse rico no.
It's incredibly grueling work. It requires being bent over at the waist or on your hands and knees all day. It is as demanding a physical work as probably any that people are familiar with in this country.
The farm worker is the one who provides us with food, and yet their hands are invisible. CRLA has always believed that somebody has to defend that worker.
Nosotros estábamos trabajando ahí con ellos, todo estaba saliendo bien, pero llegó un tiempo que se empezó a atrasar con los cheques.
Decían que sí nos iba a pagar y que no nos preocupáramos, que sigamos trabajando.
A la cuarta semana ya era mucho lo que nos debía.
Ya no teníamos más dinero, pedíamos prestado y prestado.
Me debían a mí y mi señora como $8,000 y pues no, nunca nos pagaron.
Yo pensé que no teníamos derecho, no sabíamos dónde acudir para que nos ayudara, pues pensábamos que todo se perdió.
In the summer of 2000, a group of workers came into CRLA's Santa Maria office who worked in the strawberry fields and, as had been very common for many years, had not been paid their wages.
California corporations can be very crafty. They can hire subcontractors, and the subcontractors will hire the employees. And when that happens, the subcontractors often don't have money. And so the employee who sues the subcontractor for wages often is left holding an empty bag.
And so the question at the end of the day was, who will take responsibility for the salaries of those workers?
We filed suit on their behalf to recover their wages against the contractor who had initially hired them.
So I got a call from Julia Montgomery, who was one of the lead lawyers in this case. And she asked if I could help her with the case in Santa Maria. We have tried very hard over the past 12 years to work with CRLA by co-counseling on a number of cases. And I'm proud of my relationship with this organization. I remember traveling to Santa Maria and to San Luis Obispo and attend depositions and defend our clients.
The court finally issued its decision in May of 2010.
The decision is difficult. I'm not satisfied because for our clients to have stood by us for all these years, I wish they could recover something. But at the same time, we accomplished a great deal because we changed the law for the better.
We changed the way the court looks at the employer and employee. That case in the future will affect many, many workers who are found in the same situation. When an intermediary person will hire them and say that they will pay them, and then the worker ends up being unpaid, then we will be asking the court to define who the employer is and who is responsible.
It will definitely benefit farm workers who are hired by farm labor contractors, because those farm workers no longer have to sue their farm labor contractor. They can also sue the farmer who owns the field.
In the long term, it will be a victory for workers in California and elsewhere.
We helped with this case millions of Californians in terms of being able to come forward and demand fair payment.
For many of us, it's personal. Many of us come from backgrounds where maybe our parents or grandparents We're workers just like the ones that we're representing.
A todos los trabajadores que estén en este caso igual que nosotros, que no tengan miedo, que busquen ayuda, porque si hay ayuda aquí en California o aquí en Estados Unidos, que no se queden con las manos cruzadas.
Le dijera que no se dejaran, pues, porque sí hay ayuda, aunque no seamos de aquí, tenemos derecho.
I think CRLA is a force in California and nationwide in terms of helping to establish good policy for low-income people.
To be able to help individuals access the court system and to even be able to take their cases to the highest courts in the state. That's our job.
CRLA is behind a great deal of impact litigation. Impact litigation is litigation that is intended to make an impact, to make a difference. And CRLA does make a difference. And for that reason, I think it's very important to support this organization because it changes lives and it helps people.